Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Welcome to episode 16 of the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we will be talking about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's Hijra. So this is how it goes. When the persecution continued and everything was going really bad, and the people of Mecca were still looking for ways to stop the Prophet from spreading the message of Islam. The Prophet continued spreading the message of Islam to the annoyance of the people of Mecca. And so he would do that in various ways. One way that he would do that was when people from other cities came to Mecca to perform pilgrimage at the Kaaba. They were performing pilgrimage at that time, but they had idols in the Kaaba just sitting there. And when people came to perform pilgrimage, it was more to the idols instead of respecting the house of Allah. And so when they were in their tents, the Prophet would go to different tents and talk to them about the message of Islam. And one of such visits that he was making to the tents, he went to the tent of the Yathrib people. And when he got to the tent of the Yathrib people, he told them about Islam, the message of Allah, and the oneness of Allah. And immediately, the Yathrib people under that tent all became Muslims. They accepted Islam. They were happy to accept Islam. They were happy with the message that the Prophet ﷺ shared with them. And they promised that when they got back to Yathrib, they would spread the message of Islam, and they would come back with more people the next year for the next year's pilgrimage. And they stayed true to their promise. When they went back, they continued spreading the message of Islam. They had many people converting to Islam. And then the following year, when they came with over 70 people from Yathrib. They had the influential leaders. They had just regular people in Yathrib. They all came to perform the pilgrimage, and they had all become Muslims, mashallah. And so one day the Prophet ﷺ received revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling him to migrate to Medina, to Yathrib. I'll get to why it's called a different name now. But I'm sure you're wondering, where is Yathrib? Subhanallah. So the Prophet received a revelation telling him to migrate to Yathrib. And so the Prophet told a lot of his followers, he told them that it's time for Hijra, for them to migrate from Mecca to Yathrib. And because there were plots already, the people, the Quraysh and the Meccans that were not Muslims were plotting so many bad things against the Prophet. And so the Prophet said, it's time to migrate and move to Yathrib. So a lot of the Muslims and the companions, they gathered, and Abu Bakr was supposed to go with them, but the Prophet told him, Abu Bakr, can you wait, and you would accompany me when I will be going, because the Prophet did not go with the first batch. He stayed back with some of his family members and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And so the Muslims went to Yathrib. They were well received. They loved them. It was a beautiful place. The people were nice to them. They had a lot of Muslims there, so they were practicing Islam openly, and it was just beautiful. And so when the Quraysh now found out, or the people of Mecca found out, that the Prophet didn't have a lot of his followers anymore because they had migrated to Yathrib, they were happy, and they said, this is our opportunity to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, subhanallah. And so they set out one day to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet received a revelation from Allah telling him to leave immediately for Yathrib. And so the Prophet called in Abu Bakr gathered his the family that was left, and they set off to Yathrib. And the Meccans and the Quraysh that were not Muslims, they thought, okay, this is our perfect opportunity. Let's go get him and kill him. When they got to the Prophet ﷺ's house in the morning, they met someone sleeping and they thought it was him. They were about to kill him, and they found that it was not the Prophet ﷺ. It was they found Ali in the bed and not the Prophet ﷺ. And so they realized their mistake, and they tried to pursue the Prophet but ﷺ, but they didn't find him. They went searching everywhere on the way to Yathrib, but the Prophet and Abu Bakr were hiding in a cave. They knew that they were following them, so they hid in a cave for a few days to avoid them. When the people of Mecca that weren't Muslims, when the unbelievers came, and they looked in the cave, but they saw that the cave had like thick spider webs that weren't untouched, and they're like, oh, no one would be here because the spider webs aren't touched, and so they're not disturbed, and that means no one entered the cave. And so they didn't look further, but Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr were actually in that cave. Allah had protected them from being seen by the people that were going to kill them. And so after the people of Mecca left, and Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr came out of the cave and proceeded to Yathrib. When they got to Yathrib, the people of Yathrib welcomed them. They were so happy to see them. And in fact, they changed the name of their city from Yathrib to Madinatun Nabi, meaning the city of the Prophet. And they now call it Medina for short. But it is Madinatun Nabi, the city of the Prophet, and for short it's called Medina. And that is the story of how the Prophet migrated from Mecca to Yathrib. It's now called Medina. I hope you learned a few things from that today. MashaAllah, we will be back again with day 17, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.